Welcome back, everybody. It's the Drop Bears Perspective. I'm Phil, and today we're going to be checking out a march, one of the many anti-Israel marches that's supposedly in support of Palestine, yet everyone seems to be wearing the terrorist scarf. Um, but yes, it's amazing that they're quite happy to be running down Israel and make themselves feel good. You can see just how smug some of these idiots will be when they try to answer. It's like, oh, you really don't know? Come on.
I'm here to support the Palestinians and their right to their own land.
Dude needs a spelling check quickly. Zionists are terrorists? What, the whole word of terrorist did not fit on the paper? Terrorists. Terrorists.
The future of people who live in world peace together.
Isn't it weird that a guy calls for a world peace while wearing a terrorist sign right on his head? Yeah? The kafia comes from Kufa, from Iraq, but
While he's also wearing a t-shirt here, I guess that'd be saying that something about stolen land or something like that for here in Australia, which is very divisive in itself too. So at the end of the day, yeah, this guy is really calling for peace when ultimately the whole voice referendum that we had, a year or two ago, was literally all about dividing Australia on race.
it was coined to symbolize intifada and terrorism. How are you guys doing? This is Sahar TV, and today we're going to be watching Palestinian protesters in Australia speaking out of their tuchus, of their rear end. They don't have a single clue why they're there, and we're going to debunk each and every claim that they make. Let's take a look.
Can you tell me a little bit about what it means to show up here today?
It means we are in solidarity with the Palestinian people.
Yeah. And what do you want to see happen in the war at the moment as a result?
In the what?
In the war at the moment. What would you like to see happen, ideally?
It's not a war. I want to see the genocide stop. I want to see our government take sanctions on Israel. It's not a war.
Okay. All right. Thank
It is a war. Because in order for a genocide to take place, there has to be intent to destroy the population. There's no intent since we released leaflets and text messages and called them. So no, it's not a war.
you. Do you have anything to add?
It's a genocide.
It's a genocide. Thank you.
And we know that genocides are not specific just to Palestine. There was a genocide here, and what we're seeing in Palestine...
Wrong. There was no genocide here in Australia. At the end of the day, if that were so, then there would be no Aboriginal communities here in Australia. They would not have the power that they have. I would not have some Aboriginal DNA within myself from my grandmother. My family has been here since 1788. Some of the first settlers. Do you hear that? Settlers. They are not occupying land. They came here in peace, and no one under the law of the British Crown was allowed to hurt Aboriginals. Aboriginal people were recognised as citizens of the Crown, which leftists will deny.
is what happened here, but it's also happened in so many other places.
Just notice how many times they coin the term genocide, and they'll say genocide because if you say it enough times, people will end up believing it, which is what's happening right here.
No.
I just want to say
The only genocide
Australia
in
was
modern time
occupied
is
land
the
too,
Nazis.
don't forget this.
Wrong.
There's a Holocaust here. There's blood all over this land. And this is where places like Israel...
If Australia's occupied land, then who would you prefer have made it here first? The Spanish? Even Muslims with Islamic, when they were made it all the way to Indonesia? We think we're lucky that they didn't find Australia. They would have enslaved every last Aboriginal. Same as the Spanish, you would have all just been enslaved. If the Maoris had come here, they would have killed 10% of the population and enslaved the rest. The leftists try to deny this, but it is 100% fact.
Get their power from, not just here, Australia, the United Kingdom and the US as well. You know, without them, where would they be? So don't forget that. And for me, people who are complicit in genocide are just as bad as the perpetrators of genocide.
Blah, blah,
We're
blah,
going to
blah.
clean up our own backyard here.
At the end of the day, too, they use this as an excuse to get away with bad behaviour. It's just absolutely insane that they go to court for doing anything from beating their wives to robbing a service station, and they get away with it because of historical trauma. My nan, my nan, she was part of the stolen generation, and she never seen it as a bad thing. She was taken off the mission, which they were still living in bark huts, and she knows that she had it a lot better once she got off that mission. She never complained once.
An Aboriginal speaking against the indigenous people of Israel, the Jews, instead of dealing with their own problems, the fact that Australia is colonized and was taken away from the indigenous people, the Aboriginals. Can't believe I'm seeing this.
No, it wasn't taken away from them. They still have it.
And there's genocidal oppression of my people going on today. It's been going on for 255
you're
years.
good for a laugh, mate.
Premeditated,
Right.
intentional genocide.
Yep,
Where we're
intentional
standing right
genocide.
here.
That's why you're still
Australia,
there.
you
Okay.
call it. Victoria. Well, that's not its real name. It's occupied land. And this is where these people like Israel get their power from. They're stealing all the resources out of here.
People will blame Israel for absolutely anything. Let's blame Israel because it's the comfortable thing to do. Yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to detract from the horror that's going on over there.
Too late,
in
you already
Palestine.
did, clown.
It's disgusting. You know, I don't know what we're going to do about it.
The main problem, the biggest problem in the Aboriginal community is that clowns like this aren't taking responsibility for the youth and making them take responsibility for their lives instead of just going out and being absolute clowns and leaning into the stereotype.
But, you know, we're here, and these complicitors here, we can do something about. And I just want to say that. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm First Nations, and I 100% support the removal of the oppression and the genocide in Gaza. Yeah, 100% behind.
The only people oppressing the people of Gaza is Hamas and Islamic Jihad. Israelis don't oppress the Gazans because they don't control the Gazans. It's only Hamas. Stupid claims again, and there's no genocide, it's a war.
And what does it mean to show up today? What are you hoping to see?
I do this for my mothers, my grandmothers, my great-great-grandmothers, my great-great, and the future of people to live in world peace together. Particularly here as a First Nations descendant today, it's a great honour to come out with other people of the world and show our support.
Isn't it weird that a guy calls for a world peace while wearing a terrorist sign right on his head? Yeah?
Exactly.
The kafia comes from Kufa, from Iraq, but it was coined to symbolize intifada and terrorism.
Do you think it was a similar sort of genocide how they were talking about in the speeches?
There's a parallel to this that's been going on for 200 years in Australia that's pretty much same as what's going on in Gaza.
Well,
I'm here for that specific reason, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Peace.
Connor. Nice
Peace
to meet you.
and freedom.
Can you tell me a little bit about what you're here for today?
I'm here to support the Palestinians and their right to their own land.
Dude needs a spelling check quickly. Zionists are terrorists? What did the whole word of terrorist didn't fit in the... What, the whole word of terrorist did not fit on the paper?
Can to be a professional?
Terrorists. Terrorists. Terrorists.
What do you want to see happen as a result of showing up to these protests in Australia?
I want to see the Australian government change its relationship with Israel to stop diplomatic ties, to stop trade, and to be very open in their criticism of the genocide.
And you've got a sign here that says Zionists are terrorists. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, Zionism, as in the takeover of the Palestinian territories, which we are commemorating today in 1948, and removing civilians and demolishing their villages.
That was after a war that they all started. And Israel won against 4 other nations in 6 days. Learn your history, bitch.
And continuing to persecute civilians, I call that terrorism.
Oh, he knows absolutely nothing about this. In 1948, 5 Arab countries started a war against Israel.
5.
It's in all the documentation. You can go and read it. They tried to completely genocide the Jews that were in Israel and ethnically cleanse them, but they lost the war. And in a defensive war of Israel, it is perfectly legal to take land because we did not start this war. It's a defensive war. It's legal to take land. You don't want something like this to happen? Perfect. Don't start wars. You can't win. Very simple.
Israel could have kept the Sinai Peninsula, but they gave it back to Egypt. They gave the Palestinian people, like Gaza, because Israel didn't want it.
And so I think Zionism is terrorism.
Zionism just means that you believe in the right of the Jews to self-determine in their ancestral homeland, just like you believe the Aboriginals have a right to self-determine in their ancestral homeland, and the Native Americans have the right to self-determine in America. That's all it means. Nothing evil.
Think about Hamas's role in this conflict. Do you think they've done anything wrong in this conflict?
I think that question is a red herring. I think you can look into the fact that the Netanyahu government has made it very clear that they will not deal with the Palestinian Authority and that they'd rather deal with Hamas.
Wow, I really like how they answer questions that they get asked.
And therefore have helped direct money towards Hamas and so created into a war situation. But as far as it goes in terms of people standing up to terrorism, to the taking over of their territory, I think we would all agree that everyone has a right. If our country was invaded, we have a right to defend ourselves in the same way as when the Nazis came into France, that you had the underground defending France, and we're proud of that. In the same way, we should be proud of people who stand up to the invaders and look after the rights of the civilian population there.
Got you. So this person is currently in Australia. Does it actually make sense for the Aboriginals, who are the indigenous people of Australia, to rise up and massacre the people of Australia who invaded Australia from different parts of the world? Do you think it's justified for them to do it? To rape, to massacre, to mutilate? That's what you think because you just admitted it on camera. Nearly every single place on the face of the planet has been colonized. But Israel, who's resettled by the original tribes, by the Jews.
You don't think Israel was justified in responding after what happened on October 7th?
I think there's a bigger picture. The bigger picture is that in 1948, foreigners were brought into Israel to take into Palestine to take over Palestine.
He said it.
And since that time, for 77 years, there's been a persecution of the local people. So bringing it down to some little thing that happened. Something that happened on the 6th of October is really not seeing the big picture.
There's been no persecution of the local people because first of all, they're not the local people. They came from different parts of the world. They came from Arabia. They came from the Ottoman Empire. They came from Egypt to work for the Brits. There's a bunch of context this guy's missing. They weren't persecuted. On the contrary, they were massacring the Jews. They were killing the Jews. They were committing massacres against the Jews even before Israel was established. 1834, Safed looting, 500 people were murdered by Muslims. It has to do with the fact that this land is Jewish and they don't like it because it was conquered by an Islamic Khalifa. Now when the Jews control it, it makes no sense. Judaism is no longer a relevant religion in the eyes of the Muslims. It's a din batil, cancelled religion. So how can they control this Muslim land? This place is Jewish. It's always been Jewish.
Here's just tell me a little bit about why you're here?
You need to talk to somebody else.
Yeah, no worries. Sorry, I just thought it's because you're holding a sign you might be passionate about it.
I am very passionate about it,
But I pretty much know nothing about it because you need to go and talk to somebody else. Yeah.
but it's been a hard day.
Okay.
So ask somebody else.
No worries. About why you guys chose to show up today.
Because starving children doesn't doesn't equal self-defense.
Starving children? Okay. Go to Yemen and talk to them about...
I think these guys are two parts cut. They definitely had a few drinks before they've head out to this march.
starving their children. Because in Israel, nobody starves the Gazan children. It's Hamas who takes the humanitarian aid and hides it away from them and sells it to them for ridiculous prices.
Yeah. That's basically it. I could go on with a whole lot of things, but yeah, starving children is not self-defense.
Tell me a little bit about why you're here at the Palestine rally today.
Well, it's the first rally I've ever been to in my life.
Really? Congratulations.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Just because it was the first one where I thought, it's just ridiculous that this is happening. That it started and we were like, oh, it's okay, it'll stop because the world will, all come together and stop a genocide from happening. And then they didn't. It was just the UN. Every time Israel did something, the UN just went, you guys better stop. And then
because they coined that term, everybody's saying genocide, and people just start believing it again. Just like I said before, it doesn't mean it's a genocide. It means that these people are full of shit, spreading false propaganda. So you start saying it.
Sorry.
And not only that, you also have morons like this who know absolutely nothing about what's going on in the world, who believe what the news tells them, and it's like, oh, there's a genocide going on.
We bombed another hospital and they just kept doing it and no one's done anything. It's insane. I can't believe how long it's gone on for. So,
Yeah.
if no one's, this is literally the least I can do. So let's get out there and, I don't know, let them know.
Because Hamas
we
were
still
using
care,
it as base of operations.
So, yeah.
So what do you want to see happen, like ideally? Ideal result? What would you want to see?
I don't know. Two-state solution because,
Wrong.
there's still people in Israel that are protesting against it. They still need to be.
There can't be a two-state solution, especially while Hamas is still in power, because Hamas wants the total destruction of Israel and all Jews.
Somewhere, as annoying as that is, but yeah, you can't just kill. We can't get rid of Palestine. It has to be somewhere. But
A two-state solution is not going to work, and the reason for that is because we already offered a two-state solution too many times. 1937, the Peel Commission, we offered 85%. The Jews were to get 15%. They said no. 1947, UN Partition Plan, we offered, again, 55-45. They said no. 1967, we offered a two-state solution. They said no. In the year 2000, 96% of the land of the 67 borders were offered to give back to the Palestinians. They said no. In the year 2005, the Jews completely disengaged from Gaza to give them their own sovereignty, their own entity. What did they do? They started firing rockets at Jews and commit terror attacks against Jews. Wow,
Exactly.
How convenient. The year 2008, again, a very generous offer by Ehud Olmert, giving almost 96% of the 1967 borders back to the Palestinians. They said no. A two-state solution is not going to do shit. They refuse the existence of a Jewish state. They're against it. But what don't you get?
then we can't if we send Israel somewhere else, I don't know, what do we do with that? So, two-state solution somehow.
What do you think about Trump's influence on the whole war?
Oh, I don't know. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's got no idea. He just he said he's going to end the war in Ukraine in one day, and now he's tweeting, please stop. He doesn't have any idea. It's a complicated issue enough, just as if it was a capable leader, and he's not a capable leader. So how's he going to have any idea? He can't run his own country.
I guarantee this clown voted for Albo, and he believes that our Prime Minister is a capable leader. Genius.
You're going to figure out.
He's been doing some pretty successful things. He was able to get a ceasefire between Iran and Israel. He was able to destroy the nuclear facilities in Iran. He was able to mitigate between Pakistan and India after the conflict that they had. He's a pretty successful leader. He's also taking the immigration issues that are in the United States into his own hands, deporting illegal aliens out of this country. So to say that he's a poor leader, I disagree. I think he's a pretty good leader.
Free, free, free Palestine.
From Hamas.
Siblings, thank you so very much for coming out today. Today we're going to make the city stop from the river to the sea.
Most of them don't even know which river and which sea. That's the absurdity of the whole claim.
From the river to the sea, my friends, we're not going to stop. We're going to shout, we're going to scream. Now you should know that the Pussycats of Zion have mustered about 12 people and they want to meet us. They're looking for a reception for us down at Flinders Street. I want you to treat them how we should treat all Zionists. And that is to block, block, block. Ignore Zionists. Ignore Zionists. They have...
I thought he was going to say something peaceful, and I want you to treat them just like we treat all people, with respect. And he just ended up saying, just block them. What a stupid man.
No moral equivalency to our movement, a movement of love, of inclusion, of solidarity, of humanity. They've got no... Their only argument is violence, as we've seen in Gaza, and what they are looking for.
As he's wearing a keffiyeh, calling for violence and globalizing the intifada.
Exactly.
See, interesting.
What the Pussycats of Zion, we should call them the scumbags. The scumbags of Zion are looking for is the... Oh, they are scumbags. What they are looking for is the reaction. What they are looking for is the fight. Ignore them, please. Just like online, block, block, block.
Just replace the word Zionist with Muslims and see how everybody tells you you're an Islamophobe. That's the funny thing. They just coined the term Zionist to blame all Jews. They say, no, I have no problem with Jews, just Zionists. But most Jews are Zionists. That's the problem. If you change that word to Muslim or Christian, all of a sudden there's going to be a world outrage of why? How dare you speak like this? How dare you call them scumbags? But when it's Zionist, everything is perfectly fine. Bizarre.
Don't engage with Zionists.
Can you tell me a little bit about why you're here?
Who are you with?
Oh, I'm just an independent journalist.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Do you have anything to do with the Zionists?
No, I'm not a Zionist.
Yeah.
What does your sign say?
We're with Amnesty International. It says in the occupation, dismantled apartheid and genocide.
And occupation, there's no occupation. The Jewish people got this land fair and square by the UN, by the League of Nations. Everything is here's fine. Dismantle apartheid. There's no apartheid. There's 2 million Arabs living in this country being able to vote. Open businesses have the same rights. And the genocide, there's no genocide. It's a war. The population of the Gazans and the people in the West Bank increased since 1948. By tenfold. No more Nakba. Nakba doesn't actually exist. It's the Arab leaders who told their Arab populations to leave while they ethnically cleansed the Jews in the 1948 war. But what happened is they lost the war. Most people couldn't come back. Every single claim here is bullshit.
No more Nakba.
Yeah, okay. And what do you want to see happen in the war at the moment? Like, what
all of these things. I want to end the genocide as a start, and then go on within the occupation and dismantle the apartheid system that Israel has.
All right. And what do you want to see Australia do?
Meet its international obligations by stop embargo, stop sending weapons to Israel. To start with that, and then we can see what happens from there.
Okay. All right, thank you. What does it mean showing up to you today?
Well, I mean, the Palestinians are suffering a huge number of deaths and forcible displacement. And
a huge number of deaths doesn't mean anything. And by the way, in a 2-year conflict, 55,000 people dead when the majority of them are Hamas. That's not a huge population loss. It's actually one of the lowest ratios in history. But if you take the same comparison and you say, okay, when the Brits fought the Nazis and most of their casualties were civilians, of the Germans were civilians, when they tried to eradicate the Nazis, then were the Brits wrong and the Nazis right because they had more casualties? Of course not. And nobody would claim that. But with Israel, everything is different.
Exactly. I'm protesting against that. I mean, so the Palestinians have been driven from their homes, for the past 70 years, actually, since the founding of the State of Israel. Palestinians were driven out of their homes, and then now they're being driven out of the Gaza Strip. So I'm just here to protest against that.
Ideally, what would you like to see?
Just to remind you, there was hundreds of thousands of Palestinians in 1948. When I say Palestinians, I mean Arabs. Jews were also Palestinians. The Arabs who lived here in 1948 were hundreds of thousands. And now there are millions and millions and millions of people. Just in the Gaza Strip alone, you have 2.2 million Arabs. In the West Bank, you have 3 million plus Arabs. In proper Israel, you have 2 million Arabs. That's millions and millions of Arabs. What genocide? What driving people out? What are they talking about?
Yeah, last one. Do you think Hamas has done anything wrong in this war?
Well, I think it was. I think probably was a mistake to carry out the attack. But I mean, I think I understand.
You think it was a mistake to carry out the attack? Right. It was no mistake. They intentionally did it. There was months of planning. And wow, it was a mistake. Right. Yeah, a big underestimation of how Israel would retaliate.
Why they did it, because they had been subject to a blockade around the Gaza Strip, but it sort of gave Israel the pretext for carrying out a massacre. So even more than they were doing. I mean, they massacred people before, but
how can this guy justify a genocide that was attempted to be done on October 7th? How can you justify something like this? The moment he says, I can understand why they did that, is justifying their atrocities. It's not a mistake. It's an act of terrorism, and they should pay for what they did, and they should return the hostages that they took. But what an absurd claim by this guy right here, justifying genocide. Because of the blockade, why did they not attack Egypt, who also shares a border with the Gazans? They have an even stricter blockade between Gaza and Egypt. Why don't they attack them? Why don't they? Because they're Muslims? Ah, got you. So it's against Jews. All right.
Much larger scale than they have previously. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's all, sir. Thank you very much.
I wouldn't shake their hands. I think these are despicable and disgusting people who have nothing going on, and all they do is just ride after the next trendy thing. They don't protest for anything else, only for...
Exactly. It's just virtue signaling that within another year or so, they'll be onto something else. And at the end of the day, it's railing against anything that the right in general loves or is trying to protect. Be it family, religion, traditional values, whatever. They always find something to attack because they've got to destroy the status quo. I hope you enjoyed this one with Sahir TV. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.